Before we wrap up this module, I just wanted to point out some considerations you might want to bear in mind when it comes to testing your FileSystemWatcher-based applications. First off, you may want to check that all of the basic file operations produce the results you expect. So for example, trying to copy a file into the watched directory, moving a file into the watched directory or out of the watched directory, deleting a file in the watched directory, overwriting an existing file in the watched directory, and also renaming a file. You may also want to check what happens when you incrementally write large files to the watched directory, and if it's one of the supported scenarios in your application, check what happens when you save the files from different types of applications into the watched directory. You may also want to simulate a high volume of changes just to check that the buffer doesn't overflow, and if it makes sense for your application, check that files are only processed once. If your FileSystemWatcher is watching a directory on a map drive or network, you may want to test what happens if that network goes away temporarily. You may find the FileSystemWatcher stops responding to changes once the network connection comes back, and in this case you may want to make use of the error event to recreate the FileSystemWatcher so your application can continue to respond to file system changes. Finally, you may also want to consider how you handle existing files in the watched directory when your application starts up.